One of the biggest stories reemerging from Hunter's trial, of course, is the infamous laptop. The episode caused millions of Americans to rethink their trust in the media, the intelligence community, and our elected officials, because everybody was lying about it. The FBI had it. We were still being told it was Russian disinformation. Earlier this week, an FBI special agent testified that everything on Hunter's laptop is authentic and unaltered. Yet none of the people who dismissed the laptop as Russian disinformation has come forward to admit they were wrong, or they were lying, or they were, well, whatever they want to call it. Remember when 51 intelligence agents swore this? A laptop op fits the bill, as the publication of emails are clearly designed to discredit Biden. None of them has taken responsibility. How about the Democrats, the media? Well, they all said things like this.
I think it's broadly known and widely known, Peter, that there was a broad range of Russian disinformation.
The origins of this whole smear are from the Kremlin.
It's classic textbook Soviet Russian tradecraft at work.
Looks like a classic Russian playbook disinformation campaign.
The U.S. authorities are seeing if those emails we just talked about are connected to an ongoing Russian disinformation effort.
It is so obviously a Russian operation.
Hunter Biden, this laptop that intelligence officials have warned is likely Russian disinformation.
Ongoing Russian disinformation effort.
Ongoing Russian disinformation effort.
Yeah. Well, what about President Biden himself? It's been radio silence since this.
There are 50 former national intelligence folks who said that what he's accusing me of is a Russian plant.
There's overwhelming evidence that from the intelligence community that the Russians are engaged.
I still think that the stories from the fall about your son Hunter were Russian disinformation and a smear campaign, like you said.
Yes, yes, yes. God love you, man.
Well, what was up with that? I mean, they all had the same talking point. Were they making it up?
We need to know who knew what and when, because this was a lie. I mean, there's no other thing to call it than that. I mean, I tweeted out, I've said before, about the New York Post story from my personal account when I was press secretary, and my personal Twitter account was banned the same time as the New York Post story. This was a story that was widely denied. You saw it not just during the election, all the way into the Biden White House. You heard Jen Psaki just say from the podium, Russian disinformation. And that letter you read, Harris, the 51 intelligence officers, let's not forget that CIA Deputy Director Mike Morrell said the person who organized that letter was Antony Blinken, who was the senior advisor for the Biden campaign, who is now the Secretary of State. He organized it. We need accountability because the nation was told a lie. Newspapers were banned. Well, the nation was told a lie. And as you pointed out yesterday, in was carried the saran-wrapped, sealed laptop from Hunter Biden. I mean, not only was it not Russian disinformation and it was real, it's part of this case. I mean, I think we're all owed some sort of explanation. It's awfully convenient, though, that it only becomes real, like, right now.
Well, that's the modus operandi.
For the left and the White House.
The modus operandi is lie, obfuscate, deflect, whatever you can, because eventually when the truth comes out, it doesn't matter. Call it the 24-hour news cycle, or just call it the same people who orchestrated it in the first place are going to make sure it doesn't count later on when it's revealed to be true. But whenever I hear clearly obvious out of any of their mouths, I know they're lying. So whenever they say, this is obviously, this is clearly, I know they're lying.
Rosanna?
Well, I'm just going to say they love to throw Russia around, and that just kind of like solves every problem. But I will tell you, I was talking to some friends of mine in the media from various organizations when this was happening, and they said the Democrats don't care about Hunter Biden nor his laptop. And that was the end of that. So in other words, why are we paying attention to this?
Emily?
I think because they can sleep at night not having consciences and knowing that they could get away with it, right? Isn't that why they don't care? Because they've gotten away with it.
Well, they had to be worried about what else might have been on the laptop. So you had to discredit the laptop so anything else that may have come out,
What I mean is the fact that, this election was arguably won by about 300,000 votes across 6 battleground states. At the end of the day, were 300,000 people persuaded by 51 intelligence agents signing that thing?
Clearly not.
By Biden at the presidential debates? Yeah. How much impact did it have banning the New York Post from Twitter? I'll bet you at least 300,000 people thought it was Russian
Bingo.
disinformation because of those players.
And many of those Democratic television viewers are still watching the very networks that, that manipulated the story and said it was Russian disinformation.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kayleigh McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.